the very current show.
popteevee.
Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. Selamat datang Datin Azimah to the Fairly Current Show.
Thank you.
Don't look so scared. Sebab hari ni kita nak cakap a little bit about the teaching of maths and science, yeah, in English. Sekarang ni the situation dah porak-poranda. We don't know what's going on, what's the head, what's the tail. Actually, now if you can, Datin, tell us what do we stand to lose, or what actually is the crux of the matter right now?
Right. What we stand to lose is that our children and the future generation is going to lose its global competitiveness, because in the end what's going to happen is there's only going to be such a great emphasis on BM, Bahasa Melayu, that especially the Malays, it'll be just one language proficiency. You know, that isn't going to be able to make them want to learn more in English. And unfortunately, that English is the language of science, technology, trade and commerce. So a lot to lose.
Just now, outside of the studio, you were saying about how you know we're actually also looking at numbers, some numbers game. Can you just give us you know, they're planning to reduce or increase the amount of time.
Right. The Ministry of Education has said many times that MBM MBI, which means memartabatkan bahasa Melayu dan memperkukuhkan bahasa Inggeris, MBM MBI, yeah, is going to replace PPSMI. So what they're saying is, yes, we know that the weakness is English, so we will increase the English exposure hours from 15% to 21%, which is fine with everybody. What they're not saying is that when you remove science and maths in English, and science and maths in English becomes taught in science and maths becomes taught in BM, and only English remains, this means that the exposure to English subjects, which is 41% at the moment, will be reduced to 21%. Or really, effectively, from 41% down to 15%, which is the present English hours, back up to 21%, which the government has said, you know, will improve the English. So what you're actually seeing a net decline of half, rather than increase of 6%.
But how will this affect, say, like your son? You have a son who's in standard 4,
Standard 6. Yeah.
How will this affect someone like him? I mean, really.
His group is the present standard 6, the present form 1, and the present form 2 will all be hit in form 4. When they reach Form 4, they will study science and maths in BM, moving on to Form 5 for 2 years, and then Form 6, they will continue with English again.
That means for 2 years, in their secondary school years, it will be completely like shift. Maksudnya dia dah belajar 3 tahun ni, and then shift again.
A lot of people think that it's not so, but it is so. Because once you give the option to the teachers to teach in BM, they will grab the opportunity to teach in BM because that's their comfort zone.
Why are we so comfortable with this comfort zone? Datin, what do you think?
You have to ask the teachers that.
Huh? Really?
You have to ask them. But some of the teachers are also very worried because they want their children to learn science and maths in English. So you have this very quiet dissatisfaction among teachers. Because, you know, they want to teach in English, the government isn't letting them. They want their children to learn English, and the government isn't letting them. So there's a lot of dissatisfaction down there.
Datin, there's some people who say that, you know, you want to learn in English, you know, but then learning itself, knowledge is a universal. You know, it's tak kisah what the language is. So why should we, you know, learn anything in English? One. Second one is, there's some people who also say, why do you want to learn this one? Ini bahasa Inggeris ni masa zaman penjajahan dulu ni, kenapa kita nak belajar macam ni?
Initially in English was probably bahasa penjajahan lah, but not anymore lah. English used to belong to English, but it's not anymore. You know, the world is flat. English actually does not belong to anyone. It's a world language. It doesn't belong to anybody anymore. English is non-proprietary, and English is not race-based. So this is why we are advocating English, because we think that once you retain the science and maths in English in schools, it will draw the crowds. It will draw the crowds, and the schools that will offer science and maths in English will be the One Malaysia school.
Do you think there's enough political will to?
At the moment there isn't. At the moment there isn't because I don't know. Maybe they fear that they will lose the Malay votes if they give the PPSMI option. I don't know. I don't know how a politician thinks, but this is probably so. They need the Malay votes to win the next elections. That's why they're not budging. It's the truth. But at the same time, we're saying, you've lost the vote of the educated. We want our children to be educated in English. So let's strike a balance somewhere, because I think if they give us the English, it's a win-win situation, because you have already got the votes of the Indians, you've got the votes of the Chinese, you've got the votes of the Malays, and the votes you haven't got yet, which is the educated Malaysians. We want to give the vote to the governor of the day, but they're making it increasingly difficult for us. So it is a win-win situation. It's a situation that is very rare. It's very rare to have a win-win situation. This is a win-win situation we are offering to the government and the politicians. Take it. Here, take it.
Now, you've been called many things. Kingmaker is definitely not one of it. Yeah. Vote giver also. Probably people don't really think about it. But you've been called many things, yeah. Among others, pengkhianat bangsa lah, this lah, that lah. What are some of the?
Unfortunately, the name callers are Malays themselves who are like me lah, Malay. But I really think that this is actually I really seriously think that I'm doing this for the Malays. And of all Malaysians, because if the Malays don't, come out of the tempurung now, and I mean, Tuan M, when he implemented the policy, he was opening up English and knowledge to all Malaysians, particularly Malays. And this is the time they have to just bite the dust and get on with it. For how long are you going to be? You want to be a katak?
We'll have to ask some of the politicians. Anyway, thank you so much, Datin.
Thank you.
Terima kasih ya. Terima kasih.
Popteevee.